Everybody rolls around. I lay on my weekday boots down. I put on my glove rags and pay the time. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, yeah, yeah. 'Cause that's when I party down. Party down. Party hard. Party down.
Welcome back to the Weekend Warriors Show. I'm recording this on Easter Sunday in the afternoon because I have a show on Thursday with a band I work with, and we have rehearsals next couple of days. So I'm going to try to get this out of the way. But because of that, it means that my weekend recap will have to be off estimates again. And as you might know, estimates tend to be wrong or can be wrong or they're different by Monday when they get actuals. The good news is that the numbers are starting to come back. They're starting to add more features. They're starting to add back the individual movie pages with box office. Not quite all there yet, but I'm very happy about that. Yeah, it's Easter weekend, and the box office did great. I mean, it did, we had two movies do pretty well. I mean, one did huge box office, had the best opening of the year. And the other one did pretty good. I mean, considering everything. But anyway, let's go through it. Again, Easter weekend means that everything does really well on Good Friday because schools are out and people are off work, tend to be off work early. Some are off work on Monday. Very lucky for them. I worked right through the weekend. This weekend was all about the Super Mario Galaxy movie from Universal and Illumination Entertainment. It was expected to do really well. It did really well, and maybe it didn't do as well as the first movie, but it was very close. I mean, I was a little high on my prediction for the weekend. I ended up making $130.9 million over the 3-day part of the weekend, but it had already made almost $60 million before that. So it ended up making $190 million in its first 5 days in 4,252 theaters. That's been down from the previous movie, which ended up making $200 million in 5 days, but it's still great. $190 million in 5 days. Right now, it's the second biggest movie of the year so far behind Project Hail Mary. And so it's only because it opened like 2 weeks after that, but it made that money in 5 days, while Project Hail Mary has made a little more, but in 3 weeks. But we'll get into that a little bit. Let's talk more about Super Mario Galaxy movie. Reviews were not great, but as most critics mentioned, this is pretty much review proof because people are going to see the movie. There's the fans, the kids, they want to see the movie. It ended up at 42% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, but it got an 89% from the audiences, which is really good. But it also shows us huge divide because audiences clearly like this because it's like the fans, the kids, the parents, they love it. Critics, not so much. It's a pretty critic-proof movie, and that proves it with $190 million. The movie received an A- cinema score, which is lower than A by Super Mario Brothers movie from 3 years ago. But that's pretty expected, I guess. If it's a sequel, it's not as well liked, but still liked. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's probably going to make at least $400 million, maybe more. Universal should be pretty happy because they have a big hit on their hands. That was in first place, obviously. Second place went to Project Hail Mary from Amazon MGM. Starring Ryan Gosling. That movie dropped 43% in its third weekend to bring in $30.6 million over the 3-day weekend. It has made $217.2 million so far. One of the things I'd say, a little caveat, is that I am not so sure about some of these weekend estimates. I mean, they're based off of Friday and Saturday. They have no idea how these movies will do on Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is not a big movie for families, people going to theaters. So Super Mario Galaxy movie and Project Hail Mary could be a little bit overestimated, in my opinion. It could be more like 128 and 28.28 million, but I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to tell on Sunday when you're doing this on Sunday, but estimates come in very early on Sunday morning, and that's what most people base it on. So right now, Super Mario Galaxy movie is number one with 130.9 million. Project Hail Mary is number two with 30.6 million. And then there's drama, the new dark comedy starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, which came into the weekend with decent reviews. It came in with a lot of buzz, a lot of interest, a lot of curiosity. I predicted it would make $15 million this weekend. It ended up coming in just short of that with $14.4 million in 3,870 theaters. Review-wise, it did pretty well. It was at 82% before the weekend, and it came down to 76% from critics. It did stay at 82% with the popcorn meter with the audiences. So that was pretty good. I mean, the cinema score was B, which is not great. For a movie that challenging and different and unique, it's pretty good. I mean, Zendaya's Challengers got a B+ cinema score comparatively. So yeah, B, it's okay. I think people are going to be talking about this movie because there's so much really crazy stuff happens in the movie, and the reactions of the audience are so good that they're going to tell people when they get back from Easter weekend, and they tell their friends, and people are going to be interested and curious. I think it was brilliant the way it's marketed by A24. I think the reviews are, the reviews are pretty decent. I mean, considering it's a challenging movie, it's dark, it deals with some dark stuff. I mean, I think that's pretty good, actually. So that's A24 is the drama with 14.4 million over the weekend. That was followed in fourth place by Hoppers, which had the biggest drop it's had probably so far, which is not surprising because another family movie entered the market. But Hoppers dropped 52% with 5.8 million for the weekend. It has made 149.6 million so far. Again, that's not as good as some of the other Pixar movies, but it's better than, for a movie that was released in March, a movie that isn't like using stars like DreamWorks does, or Super Mario Galaxy for that matter, because obviously that uses a lot of big stars, and it throws around all the stars like Jack Black, Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, and Taylor-Joy. Well, Hoppers has John Hamm and it has Dave Franco. It doesn't have like a lot of like big names in there. So for Hoppers to do 149 million, great, it's a great job. It's fourth place, down 52%. As expected because there's more competition in the family market. Reminds us of Him, the romantic drama, made 2.2 million this weekend. It dropped 53%. Also, one of the bigger drops. There were a lot of movies dropped pretty big this weekend. I mean, the fact that Project Hail Mary only dropped 43% is pretty amazing. But Reminds Us of Him made 2.2 million and 45.3 million so far. Again, it's a Colleen Hoover movie. It's not the biggest Colleen Hoover movie so far. That was It Ends With Us. We'll see. There's another Colleen Hoover adaptation coming out later this year. So we'll see how that does. Number 6, A Great Awakening from, I believe it was Roadside Attractions. That was a historic biopic about Ben Franklin and how he found religion. And it made 2.1 million in 1,289 theaters. That's a pretty decent per theater average of 1,639 per theater. This is a movie that was barely advertised at all. I mean, it must have been advertised in the faith-based community. But 2.1 million, made it to top 10, sixth place, considering it had less marketing and awareness than the Super Mario Galaxy movie and the drama. Sixth place is not bad. Seventh place, They Will Kill You, massive drop, 61%. Made 1.9 million this weekend. It's made 8.7 million so far. It's gonna barely get to 10 million, maybe 11 or 12. It's not great for Warner Brothers' new line. I mean, they took a chance. It's a crazy movie. It was different. Well, not that different because we also have Ready or Not 2. Not yet though. Number 8 was Durandar: The Revenge with 1.8 million. Also a big drop, 60% for the weekend. It has made over 26 million so far. And for a Bollywood movie, that's really great. I think it's one of the best grossing Bollywood movies here in North America, maybe ever. I think some of the Telugu movies might be out of the picture for that. But I mean, 26 million, that's great. And there are other big Bollywood movies coming out later this year that I can't wait to see and talk about. Ninth place was Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. This had a drop of 56% in its third weekend. It has made 20.2 million so far. Not anywhere close to the first movie. It's still going to stay ahead of They Will Kill You because it opened bigger. That's 20.1 million in 3 weekends. Maybe it'll get to 25 million. Scream 7 is still around 10th place. It made less than $1 million this weekend, but still in 10th place. It dropped 65%. A lot of this is happening because only like 1 or 2 bigger movies and then a lot of smaller ones. And a lot of them don't get into the top 10 at all. So that's why Scream 7 can still be in the top 10 after how many weekends is that? 6, 7 weekends? I don't know. But it's made 120.5 million so far. It's definitely a hit. Francois Ozon's The Stranger, a movie that I really liked based on the Albert Camus novel, opened in 2 theaters in New York. It made 20.5 thousand in those 2 theaters. Not great, not bad. I'm not sure how much it's going to expand. I know it's going to be in other theaters as well. But it's really much like a big city limited release. It's a French movie. It's never going to go wide as far as I can tell. But the top 10 made an estimated 192.5 million, which is definitely up from the last weekend. It's one of the better weekends. And a lot of it's because of Super Mario Galaxy. I'll have to see how the actuals pan out when they come in on Monday. I'm not sure if I'll have any recording updates or anything, but right now we're going by estimates. And I'm sorry. I wish I could do this on Monday afternoon after actuals come in, but I have too much going on. I have a life. Anyway, that was this past weekend, which did really well. This coming weekend might be a different story because we have a lot of weaker releases and only a few opening in more than 2,000 theaters. I'm guessing because I don't have any theater counts for anything at this point. Clearly, Super Mario Galaxy and Project Hail Mary will continue to dominate the box office this weekend, but there are a few new movies that might end up in the mid-range of between like 5 and 7 million, and I'll talk about them next. As far as the new movies this week, first we have You, Me, and Tuscany, a new Italian-set rom-com from producer Will Packer, who has had huge hits like Girls Trip and the Ride-Along movies. So let's look at the trailer for that.
So let me get this straight. You mean some random rich white boy?
He's Italian.
Salute.
So some random rich spicy white boy.
I'm not there.
And you think that that's a sign to fly to Italy tonight?
It's not about him. He doesn't even live there anymore.
But he told me about his big old villa just sitting there.
Empty.
Don't come calling me from no Tuscan jail.
Ciao.
First time to Tuscany?
My first time pretty much anywhere. Hello?
Who are you
leaves an engagement ring in a junk drawer?
What are you doing here? Arresti questa donna!
This is all a really big misunderstanding.
Dio mio! She's marrying Matteo!
Yes! I'm marrying Matteo!
You, Me, and Tuscany looks like a movie in the vein of Diane Lane's Under the Tuscan Sun or Julia Roberts' Eat, Pray, Love. It stars Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid playing Anna, a young woman who travels to Italy after meeting a handsome Italian guy in a bar. Once she's in Italy, she meets this rugged and handsome Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton. He is 12 years older than Bailey in real life. I guess that's not that strange because she's an adult now, but it is a little strange when you consider that she played Ariel in The Little Mermaid just not too long ago, and that's a much younger character. So she's moving to more adult roles. Good for her. This one is more of a comedy that's targeted to the black women who flocked to movies like Waiting to Exhale in 1995 and The Best Man in 1999. The latter was produced by Spike Lee and directed by Malcolm D. Lee, his cousin, who went on to direct Girls Trip and Night School for mega producer Will Packer. You, Me, and Tuscany is directed by Kat Quarrer, who was the director and I think the showrunner of the Disney Plus series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which I really enjoyed. She also directed the J-Lo Owen Wilson rom-com Marry Me in 2022, which opened with $7.9 million and made $22.4 million domestically and $26.3 million overseas. This looks cute, especially with the romantic angle and the comedy inherent in the situation. Page hasn't done a ton of theatrical releases. Most notably, he was in Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves a few years ago, and he also starred in Steven Soderbergh's Black Bag last year, which was very good. Either way, neither of them have that much comparable box office history. This would really be about the premise and whether or not women will enjoy the chemistry between the two actors, the setting. Chances are they will. A few months back, Kevin James starred in a similar-ish movie called Solo Mio from Angel Studios. It also was like a travelogue style rom-com, and that opened with $7 million and then grossed almost $26 million domestically, which is in the same vein as Marry Me. If you go back to September 2023, over 20 years ago, Diane Lane's Under the Tuscan Sun opened with $9.8 million, on its way to $43.6 million. So it had legs. People liked the movie. There might be a similar case here where it opens low but has legs, but that was over 20 years ago, and there really haven't been that many women-driven rom-coms in recent years. Maybe Dakota Johnson's Materialist last year, which opened with $11 million. That was from A24. You can see that last week's The Drama's a rom-com. That's still in theaters. I think women are liking that also, but we'll see. Maybe black women won't be as interested in Zendaya as they will be in Halle Bailey. Oh, also Dakota Johnson was in Splitsville last year, which I enjoyed much more. Not so much a romantic comedy. It was very darker. It's more in the vein of the drama, if anything. This is probably catered to a different audience. From what I can see, You Mean Tuscany is very innocent, very sweet. I am actually looking forward to seeing it. I will not be able to make the critic screening on Tuesday night. Reviews will be hitting by Wednesday morning, so we'll see whether critics gave us a chance. They're not really that big on rom-coms or this kind of thing. They're a little sweet and saccharine, so reviews might not be that good. Maybe it won't matter. But this is not the type of movie that critics would rush out to cover anyway. It's also the kind of movie that reviews might not matter so much, because if women see the trailer and they think it's cute and they like the actors, they'll just go see it. Now, at any other time, a movie like this could open over 10 million, but Universal hasn't even released an advanced theater count for it yet. I'm thinking it might be in like 2,500 or 2,600 theaters, and I'll probably keep it more in the 6 to 7 million range. I don't think I'd go much higher than that, to be honest. I'm not sure if the independent film company and Shudder's horror movie Faces of Death will be considered counter-programming. I'm not even sure whether people even know that this movie exists, but here's a trailer. We'll talk about it a little afterwards.
Here at Kino Moderation, we protect people. The young, the innocent. When you come across content that violates policy, flag it and move on. You may be tempted to look into it outside of work, but don't even think about it if you can help it.
Now it is time to witness the many faces of death.
Faces of Death is a new film from Daniel Goldhaber and Issa Meize, who previously made How to Blow Up a Pipeline a few years back. This one stars Barbie Ferrara from Euphoria and Dacre Montgomery from Stranger Things, as well as the recent Dead Man's Wire from Gus Van Sant. Although both of them have been very popular on TV shows, they really don't have much box office history. Although, like most horror movies, this will get people into theaters more based on the premise and the name brand value of the title. Now, if you're old enough, you'll remember that back in the 70s and 80s, Faces of Death were these VHS tapes were passed around between friends, they're shown at parties. Basically had people dying in horrifying deaths, being killed, electric chairs, blah, blah, blah. This is actually a very different take on it. It basically is more of a serial killer thriller. As you can see behind me, Dacre Montgomery plays the serial killer. He's really crazy, but he's really good. And it's basically this killer who kills people based on those Faces of Death videos. He basically films them, tries to recreate them, and Barbie works at a company that has videos uploaded, and she has to check them and monitor them for make sure they're okay. And she starts seeing these videos, starts exploring it more. Pretty straight ahead. I'm not going to say much more. The review embargo for the movie broke on Sunday night after I'm taping this, so I don't know how it's going to do on critics. I'm not so sure it's going to do that well as far as reviews because it's Face of Death. If you're old enough, it's very well known property. It's something that like older moviegoers might be interested in this because of that. Younger moviegoers might just be interested from the trailers because they obviously kind of a pretty good trailer for it, I gotta say. So, but this is a horror movie that's really kind of like on the cusp of being. It could have been very big. I wish I had more like marketing or advertising or anything. I feel like kind of knew about it was coming out. I feel like others might not know it's coming out. I feel like I'm not sure if the stars are doing much as far as like TV appearances or anything. They're not that big stars. I have an interview with the filmmakers, which I'm probably going to tack on at the end of this because I'm don't have a lot to say about it otherwise. As far as the box office goes, at one point I thought it might make like 10 million or more. I thought it was going to be a big hit for IFC and Shudder. But right now, again, not having a theater count, I think it's going to be more in like the 5 to 6 million range. So again, I'm kind of thinking that it might not be in enough theaters to really make a huge impact. It might not even get into the top five because I think, Super Mario Galaxy, Project Hail Mary, the drama, those will probably be the top three. And then anything else that gets into there will be just very lucky. Again, I don't have that much to go by, except having seen the movie, watched the trailer, trying to guess what horror fans and other people might want to see if they see this trailer at all. I haven't seen the trailer at all in front of other movies, so we'll see. I mean, the Faces of Death name itself, it could be enough to get people into the theater, and I think because of that, it'll make between 5 and maybe 7 million, but I think more in the 5 or 6 million range. Anyway, I spoke to the filmmakers of Faces of Death, Daniel and Issa, and you can watch that interview right now. Then I'll talk about a few other movies that opened this weekend. It's funny. I really knew you guys from Pipeline. I never saw Cam, so when I saw this movie, I was like, "Oh, this is very different for them." But then I realized that you'd done the 50 States of Fright, so you've done horror before. It's not like that big a departure. Did you guys have an idea and go to Don Murphy, or did he come to you and ask for an idea? What was like sort of like the how this came together?
Yeah, we were approached by Legendary. There's an exec there, really amazing executive named John Silk, who thought of semi for this, because Faces of Death actually like predates as someone that we were working on. John had seen Cam and really liked the way that we approached talking about the internet inside of kind of a horror thriller. And I think that the initial idea behind this movie is like, where is Faces of Death today? And I think the answer to that is it's everywhere. It's on our phones. It's on our social media. And I think that we're excited to be able to tell a story about kind of like the way that this kind of violent content that used to be some of the hardest stuff in the world to see has become a kind of part of the fabric of our everyday.
And I'm actually amazed because I think a lot of people who see this, younger people, will never have seen or heard of Faces of Death, the original one. Maybe it'll be like a kind of a lesson to them. Whereas I was exactly the right age when Faces of Death was out, whereas like it was a thing. People passed around to parties and stuff.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think it was really formative for a lot of people, for sure.
Did you have any like specific videos from the Faces of Death that you wanted to kind of include in this? Like, any specific like well-known things?
The ones that are in here, I think, were the ones that made the most sense. I think that like probably the one thing that we were pretty adamant about was that the monkey had to be represented, just because I think that that really feels like Faces of Death in a nutshell, or in a monkey head rather. But just because it's like, I think that's like more than anything else the kind of like iconic scene that everybody talks about, but it's also like the most obviously faked one. And like, if you now like freeze frame through the monkey brain, it's very obviously a piece of cauliflower. Like
Okay.
it's not even like a piece of cauliflower dressed. It's like it is just a little piece of cauliflower head. And I think it's remarkable because it's like, yet that I think traumatized like a lot of people. And I think that says a lot of interesting things about our relationship with this stuff.
Then we at all influenced by things like Maniac and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer? Are those also influences for this because of You know, the
Big time.
yeah.
Big
Okay.
time. Love both. Love the original Maniac. Love the Maniac remake too. Honestly, an unheralded kind of like really formally exciting and, off the wall movie. We love all of them.
Can you talk about casting, like Barbie and how do you pronounce his name? Decker?
Baker.
Baker. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I never knew how to pronounce the name. So, what was involved with like casting them and the antagonists, protagonists?
Yeah, I mean, like we've been fans of both of theirs for some time. Barbie had always been somebody we were really excited about to work with on this film, and then I think when we met with her, it was just clear that she had a real strong personal connection to the subject matter, to the internet, to I think having grown up watching these kinds of videos on the internet, and and I think. With both of them, they were just very excited to kind of, I think, find themselves and find a personal relationship to this subject matter and to these characters. And they were both incredible to work with.
Wait, when you have the actors involved and bring them in, are you working with them at all on these characters and rewriting the characters for them, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always a collaborative process. And I think that was my favorite thing about working with Barbie and Dacre is that they both brought a lot to their own characters and they both brought a lot out in the characters that I didn't necessarily see there when we were writing them. And I think that's very cool. It's always a collaboration. It's always an evolution when you're crafting a character and it doesn't end on the page. It is always evolves with the actors too.
I get the impression you made this or shot this a while ago or a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
we actually
2023.
started shooting the movie on April 10th, 2023, and the movie is released on April 10th, 2026.
Wow.
Wild.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Not
not
intentionally.
not intentionally.
yeah. Did you actually finish it and do post and everything? And it was all done and just waiting
Yeah,
for.
the film has been 100% finished for nearly 2 years.
Oh wow. So I mean, is it a controversy now even to make a movie like this now, or was it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Like it took 3 years to go from script to actually filming. And we shot the movie. We tested well with audiences. But then the film was pulled out of South by Southwest 3 days before the film festival, announced their lineup, and then basically sat on the shelf for 2 years while we worked to find a distributor that would, I think, be willing to put our vision in theaters. And we're very, very grateful that IFC, has kind of taken that on and has really supported this film as their widest release ever. But, it's worth noting that then our trailer immediately got banned and our posters were banned from movie theaters.
Wow.
And, who knows what will happen by opening weekend. So see the movie while you can.
But you haven't been banned in 48 countries yet, right? You haven't.
No,
Not
not
yet.
yet. So,
Who knows? Who knows? Based on how things
That's
have
the
gone.
upside, yeah.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, you probably got Charlie XCX before. I mean, now she's in like so many movies as an actor, but you probably
This
got
was
her
her first film.
before.
This was her
First
first
film.
movie that she
Oh,
shot. Yeah.
oh, it was okay. But was there
Yeah.
more to her character in the movie at one point, or?
No, this honestly, she reached out to us like 3 weeks before we started shooting because she's seen a press release about the film and said, "Can I be in Face of Death?" And I was like, "Sure." There's one role we haven't cast yet. It's yours. So yeah,
Nice, excellent. Well, then you got her before anyone else for sure. I
yeah,
mean, except for her music career, of course. She had that going for her.
yes, yeah. She was
Uh,
already a massive pop star.
Considering the fact you finished this 2 years ago, have you guys been writing something else? Have you been working on something else, staying in horror vein, or branching out and doing something more
Not so
personally?
much in horror. Like I think, for me, like I'm pretty genre agnostic and I really want to explore as many different genres as I can as a filmmaker. So I'm working on kind of an action movie and also, also kind of a thriller. Are the two things I've got cooking right now. And then East and I actually do have like a horror video game that we've been trying to make for a long time. So hopefully that will happen.
So you two work together so much on pretty much everything. I mean, are you off writing by yourself for a while and then you come to Daniel with stuff, or what's sort of like the process for you guys?
I mean, we don't exclusively work together. So I have other
Okay.
directors that I work with, other
Okay.
projects that are without Daniel, and then we come together on the projects that are make sense for us to collaborate on, that we're like excited about working on together. And then within that collaboration, we find what roles make the most sense for us on that specific project.
Does Daniel get first crack at stuff, or are you kind of not really?
I think when it makes sense, we don't I think we are always talking to each other about what we're working on and showing each other
Yeah.
stuff and
He'll mention an idea
and
and I'll be like, wait, I want that. Let's do that together. Or,
Mhm.
I'll bring him something and he'll be like, nah, not for me. But we always are kind of involved in each other's creative lives.
Well, it's nice meeting you guys. Congratulations, it's finally coming out. I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, it's probably gonna come out. IFC is pretty reliable when they
Yeah,
start releasing
let's hope.
trailers. I mean, I actually saw the movie before I saw the new trailer. And when I saw the new trailer, I was like, wow, that's a perfect trailer. It's so good.
It's a good
So
trailer. They did
yeah.
a really good job with the trailer. I know. I was watching it. I was like, I want to see this. I was like, I've seen this 9,000 times.
Absolutely. Listen, thanks guys, and best of luck with the film. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Great to meet you.
I'm going to talk about some other movies opening this weekend. I don't know how many of them will be nationwide. Some of them might be more moderate with a few hundred theaters. I don't have a theater count for anything. It really makes this really difficult.
Two families are desperate for answers after their teenage sons disappeared without a trace. The 17-year-old boys, Matthew Nichols and Jordan Reimer, were last seen on the evening of October 31st in Port Rupert on the northern edge of the island. Their families are holding out hope they'll be found safe.
If you believe everything, I don't know how it's possible to stay grounded in this world.
There's actually another horror movie, an actual found footage movie called Hunting Matthew Nichols, which I've not seen yet. I know it played as the Monday Mystery Movie just a few weeks back. I really wanted to see it, but I wasn't able to get a screener. This is being released by a new distributor called Drop Shock Pictures. I think it's associated with my friend Brad Miska over at Bloody Disgusting. I don't really know much about it. It's directed by Markian Tarasiuk. No idea who that is. I really don't have much more to say about this because A, I haven't seen it. It might make $1 million or so. I don't know. I don't have a theater count. These indie distributors are just throwing movies out there willy-nilly. I'm not sure why they would open it against Faces of Death. It'll be in theaters. If people saw it in the mystery movie, maybe they'll tell friends. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. I have no idea. Another movie opening this weekend in a strange one-day-only Saturday viewing is the BTS World Tour ARRANG live viewing. It's a special engagement by Trafalgar Releasing in an unknown number of theaters. It's crazy, but it actually might get into the top 5 despite playing only one day. And the reason I say that is because the BTS has done this before. BTS has had a bunch of theatrical releases over the last few years, but they've also been off the grid for the last few years, as a few of them have been in the army, the mandatory Korean military. Because they've been off the grid for a number of years, millions of dedicated fans, presumably mostly female K-pop fans, will be curious about this live stream show they're doing. I think they were taped before, but it's gonna be like a live watching. I wouldn't really understand it, but this is not a first. They've done a bunch of these theatrical live concerts before, including one in 2022 called BTS Permission to Dance on Stage, which was also solo live viewing. That was also a one-day thing, and that opened in 803 theaters, and that made $6.8 million in just one day. And that ended up being second place that weekend. So think about that. It was 6.8 million one day, second place against movies that were open for 3 days. So this is their first real concert movie in 4 years. Again, 6.8 million in one day, 800 theaters. I'm assuming Trafalgar gets into like 1,000 theaters or more, but I think that gives it a good chance of making another 5 to 7 million in one day. And if that happens, it might even get into the top 3 or 4 because these other movies aren't very strong. So that's 2 of the things opening this weekend. Other movies opening this week in moderate, maybe wide release. Again, don't have theater counts. Not helpful. There are 2 Japanese imports being released into an unknown number of theaters this week, including Genki Kawamura's psychological thriller Exit 8, which I've already reviewed. It's based on the video game by Kotaku Create, which follows a young man trying to exit a subway station who gets caught in a time loop with very specific instructions on how to get out. It's a pretty good movie. I'll have a video review soon. I'll have an interview with the director soon. I don't know how many theaters that's being released by Neon. It could be 300 or 400 theaters. It could be limited. I don't know. I guess we'll have to check back later this week. On the animated side of things, Yasuhiro Aki's Chao, Chao, don't know how to pronounce it, from Studio 4 Degrees C, will be released by G Kids. It's a sci-fi fantasy movie in which humans and mermaids coexist and follows a guy named Stefan who encounters the mermaid princess Chao, or Cow, I don't know how to pronounce it, who proposes that they get married. I haven't seen it. I probably won't see it. I'm not a big anime guy. But there are other anime people out there, and Studio 4 Degrees C and Yasuhiro Aki has done some pretty cool movies. So lastly, this Hamlet, which is a far more traditional version of the Shakespeare play than the recent Oscar-winning Chloe Zhao movie Hamnet, although it's more of a modern-day telling of Shakespeare with Riz Ahmed, who just hosted SNL UK. I haven't watched the whole movie yet, but it's being released by Vertical and into an unknown number of theaters. That's like the theme of the week. I expect us to open outside the top 10 with less than $1 million, even if it's in 500, 600 theaters. So again, it's one of those things. These some of these movies are just like, they might get into the top 10 if they're released into 1,000 theaters or more, but some of them might not even get that many theaters. Anyway, I'm not sure if there'll be a print edition this week. I have a band I've been working with who's playing a show on Thursday night. So I'll be spending a lot of time rehearsing with them. I'll try to do a print edition. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I have time Wednesday to do some writing. But for now, this is all going to get. Next week, we have Lee Cronin's The Mummy. We also have Normal, which is a new action comedy starring Bryan Cranston, which will be released by Magnolia. I'll definitely be talking about them in next week's show. So anyway, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And take it away, Dirt Bombs.